folks. Again, thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited to give this presentation because I want to start off by saying I have been a business networking guy since since 2008, realistically, and actually even earlier because I was part of other organizations, which we'll key upon later, that are a part, that are basically how PNA came about. So I have forgotten more each day than most people have in their entire networking experience because I've been doing this for so long. So a couple people, including Mike, have come to me over the past few even months saying, uh, drop by our chapter, help with this, so on and so forth. We don't know how to do this. And in my brain, it's like, everybody should know how to do it. I'm not being sarcastic. I just forget that people don't know what they don't even know. So I'm sort of launching a new series of programs soon that help us all do better what we're already doing great. Now let's make it fantastic. So today's presentation, very simply, is about what makes a really great referral and how you can recognize the opportunity before anyone else. And of course, ideally, the takeaways are you're going to learn hopefully how to hear things differently when you're engaging in conversations, maybe even ask better questions, and even make a warmer introduction, which increases the quality and likelihood that a referral you give a member in PNA is more likely to be closed because we're all in here for ROI, not just to make friends and establish great business relationships, which thankfully we all do on kind of a stellar level between all chapters. Naturally, it didn't slide. Okay, I'm just being paranoid, making sure that you can see this.
Yep.
Okay, so the same sentence you hear can create two different reactions. If you are all at a networking event or if you're just out and about, you can literally be in the Safeway aisle, aisle six. If you're a conversational type and you hear someone say something like, let me tell you about this problem I have, this will automatically, ideally, make you say, oh, I have to pay attention to this person. I'm getting a lot of background noise on my side, so if you don't mind, if you're not speaking, jump on mute for me, please. So if you hear it, someone say, "Let me tell you about this problem I have," the average networker, we're all networkers in this analogy, we might just say, "Oh, that sounds frustrating," or "Oh, thank you for sharing that." We may not necessarily take it to the next level because for some people that's not inherent. But if you're trying to become a great networker and identifying really great referrals, you'll hear the complaint. You might offer sympathy, but normally at that point, the conversation's over. You just move on. And we've all met that person at a networking event. You say hi, and they go hi, and then there's that awkward pause, and you're like, "Hey, is anything going on?" And they go, "Yeah." And then there's the awkward pauses, and somehow, some way, things just get turned off. And then you just kind of smile awkwardly, maybe hand that person a business card, maybe even not, and then you move on. But if you're really listening and someone says, let me tell you about a problem I have, a great networker is going to say, who could help with that? Because by the way, it's probably not you initially. You may not be so lucky to be the person that that person needs to have standing in front of them when they're lamenting about what their problem is. So you can say, who could help with that? They may not know, or if they know, of course, you may have an in with that person. You may be able to say, I have a person, right? So you hear the need and you potentially recognize a category, like maybe their advertising efforts so far aren't working. You're going to be thinking about Mike, not Michael, only his mother calls him Michael. But you're going to be thinking about Mike and the quality behind and the options and ability to reach thousands of people through the Puget Sound Business Journal. And then this opens a potential referral conversation. Again, the best networkers aren't looking for opportunities for themselves. They're looking for opportunities for the people that they network with. And that's what PNA Northwest is supposed to be all about, right? So you may be able to open a referral conversation about getting someone Michael's information. Referral opportunities rarely announce themselves. This should be obvious, right? Like you're not going to have someone walk into a room and say, I need a general contractor. Now, that might happen, but probably not. What you hear are statements or proposals out there, like I'm in a situation where, etc. So you might hear, we've outgrown this place. So someone actually is experiencing change in their life. Now that change can go in multiple directions, but it should be aligned with this. Now, at the same time, it could literally be, I don't know who to call. They're at a point of frustration where they're literally reaching out to anybody and either out on social media, in aisle six at a Safeway or Kroger, if you're one of those people, whatever. They don't know who to call. They're desperate and they just want someone to listen to them. And that's where the empathy comes in again, the recognition and the potential direction. They're going through a state of uncertainty which for them is dangerous because maybe the situation is serious or the need is great. They've fallen through their deck. A kid fell through their deck, whatever. They're going to need someone like Stuart, we honeydew, to help them. And then there's occasionally the one that's a real breaker. It's like this keeps breaking, whatever that situation is. It could be their car. It keeps breaking down. We used to have an auto guy in the Bothell chapter. He brought in so much business because well, everyone's got four wheels, right? He also did windshields, etc. So he was always able to be identified as the referral point of contact when people were out there hearing about people complaining about their car always breaking down. Those people are in a situation of pain. Maybe they're suddenly a busy family, sports family, two jobs family, dual income family. Suddenly they're down to one car. We need to get that person to our trusted PNA member, whether they're in your chapter or not. I'm worried we're paying too much. That is very simply cost. Everyone is concerned about cost, whether it's the dumpster fire that is abortions of our country right now, or just the fact that everyone always posts on social media saying, looking for a cost-effective XYZ, whatever that is. Sometimes cost is the issue. Sometimes cost isn't even the concern. But maybe they're still worried about paying too much because they don't want to be taken advantage of. You also have things occasionally that are pretty random. We need to make a change. Well, what is that change? What is it? Are you going somewhere? Are you moving somewhere? Who knows? But you can then ask the follow-up questions that help identify what the transition the person is going through. Take it to the next level if you're willing to truly go to the next level with that person. Now, every business has a referral language, okay? And what I mean by that is the most useful question in a one-to-one scenario, whether it's you with another PNA member, you with another networking organization member like a chamber or another organization that you're part of, that's fine. It's really key that we key into what exact words should make you think about, make us think about your business. If you're not using basically those keywords, it's going to be difficult for us to think about you at a moment's notice when we're in front of one of those people that have those needs. It's not just who you serve, it's what they say and when they say it. At the same time, it's not just what you do. Steward, general contractor. Ugh. Some people think that they're all knuckle draggers, blue collar workers. They can't complete sentences without taking deep breaths. Maybe that's true with a lot of them, but we've heard Stewart give presentations. We know that he's a step above and beyond. We know that his business has the power behind it to get stuff done. So you're hearing what he does, but they're identifying with what's changed with the potential customer, what's hurting them, what type of transition or state are they in? And at the same time, it's not just your category. What questions to ask and how to introduce you will get us better to be able to identify that it's a general contractor, but they also might need other sources that a general contractor can bring into a job, right? Technically speaking, all businesses should have 5 triggers that make a referral language memorable. Each of you should have 5 words, 5 phrases that we can think about. Life change, something change in the person's life or business. This could be applicable to each and every one of you in some way, shape, or form. New purchase, they bought, they leased, they inherited, or they started something. Brett's ear should always turn red when he hears someone that they just launched into a brand new business and they're super excited and they're going to be at every single trade show and they're going to be doing this and there's going to be traffic and the product that they have is actually kind of dangerous. It pokes out far from the kiosk. He should be thinking, oh dear God, do you have day of insurance? Do you have business insurance? Do you have liability insurance? Do you have an umbrella policy? Are you gonna be able to protect against someone who gets poked by one of your widgets or gadgets, right? New purchase, that's going to trigger certain things. Dissatisfaction, they dislike the current result, provider, space, or process. How many of you know someone in this chapter, you should all raise your hands, that you're going to recommend if someone is complaining about the current service level they're getting from provider XYZ, right? We should know. Visual problem, I'm sorry, visible problem. Something is broken, it's delayed, it's risky, it's confusing or costly. How many of you offer a free consultation based off of what you do? Right? All hands up. Do you know that some businesses charge for that? Maybe some of you do. That's okay too. But point is that if we know that there's a problem, someone is lamenting about something that is broken or that they're not being taken care of, a confused buyer has remorse afterwards. No one wants a return. No one wants a bad review, etc. We kind of joke in PNA that we take membership very seriously, that we prefer quality versus quantity. We do. I check the references of every single person that is now a member of this organization. And if it's not me, it's the officers that have been charged to do that. But often I come in and help with that because it's easier, because I'm asking you guys to do free work as officers, right? So I help as much as I can. But every one of you are vetted. You're here for a reason. So let's remember that. If someone's talking about a problem like this, we know people. It should, quote unquote, be easy. Future plan, they are preparing to grow, move, hire, sell, retire, or improve. All of those future plans, once again, lay out into exactly what each of you represent from a category standpoint. Okay, moving on. I am going to use Stuart as an example. General contractor, 5 statements worth hearing. What are those? Well, Stuart, I'm glad you look a little interested there. I saw you smile. If we hear things like we need another bedroom or usable space, again, they're experiencing family growth. David, hello, you just had a kiddo. Again, thanks for specifying it's your wife. But point is that there's a growing family situation right there. Now, I'm not picking on David here, but maybe they're in a small place and they have room to grow, but they need to knock down that wall. They need to do whatever it takes to make sure that their growing family is successful as they begin to expand, for lack of better words. They might need more space. That is an opportunity. We love it, but it needs some work. They just bought a house, right? Not necessarily David in this anymore, but any couple that we come across, they just moved into a place outstanding. They just spent all their money, all this stuff. But guess what? They might need a HELOC now if they are looking into things. So that's another person, but they just bought a house. They want to make it theirs now. They want to customize that kitchen. The bathroom is kind of wah. They want to be able to have the walk-in shower, all of those types of things. Opportunity. 5 statements worth hearing. We're getting there. This layout just doesn't work for us. Kitchen frustration, just like I said. People love personalizing kitchens. That's one of these. He can correct me if I'm wrong, but I've been told countless times, again, that's one of the primary things that is updated soon after people move into an older home because they update it from that 1970s or 1980s look, right? This bathroom is dated, cramped, or unsafe. Again, I've kind of jumped the gun and covered these already, but man, people need to customize bathrooms. Maybe it has that old porcelain looking garbage tub that's so high it takes, darn near a stepladder to get in. Maybe they want to bust out all that and put in tile, make it just an easement and just get in very easily, a walk-in shower. Glass, divider. Doors really aren't becoming a thing anymore. They're just using those cool dividers. They need that type of stuff. We know someone who can do that. There's damage, leaking, rot, or something failing. Now, Brett is going to probably come into play there as well because there could be an insurance claim that could fund the repair that's needed that Stuart and his team can do, right? This is all pretty easy if we think about it, but we need to be listening for these types of things that make us go, I know a person. And that person happens to be that guy, Stuart, right? These things are all triggers. It is only the beginning, though, because you don't want to be a bossy person. You don't want to be in someone's face. So, once again, as an absolutely phenomenal networker, or as you're getting to the point where you recognize that you want to get better at this, you're hearing these opportunities. You're noticing the phrases, maybe some of the ones that I've already mentioned. You're hearing it. Well, what do you do next? You don't want to slap them in the face with a business card and say, contact me now. Stuart just drew on my screen. That's awesome. What you want to do is you want to clarify. You can ask a useful question. We'll cover that in just a minute. And then you want permission. You want to offer them a connection. You can say, listen, you know what? I am totally not the person. I run a humor engagement company. That's not applicable here, but I might know a person because I'm part of a great organization called PNAnw Northwest. Let me tell you about that for a second. There are 15 locations for the Pacific Northwest. Every member is vetted. They are professionals I trust and stand behind or stand alongside each and every one of these people. Can I give you that person's information that I think will take care of your needs? And then you do an introduction. Make it warm and specific. Sometimes you're just giving them a business card, but you can also take their card and you can say, may I make an introduction via email? Non-committal, but I'd like to give you an introduction, explain the situation, and connect you via or to Stuart via an email. I don't have the percentage, everybody, but if you were to do just this every single time, if you have enough time and the opportunity to do so, you will increase the quality of your referrals in regard to it becoming essentially closed business for that person, at least by 50%. Now, again, that's not exact, but I know it helps. I absolutely know it because I've been doing this for a long, long time. And again, once again, would it be helpful if I introduced you to a trusted general contractor, right? Because we know him, we've seen his work, we've seen the enthusiasm, the energy he brings behind it. He smiles as the general contractor. You know how rare that is for crying out loud? Most of them, they personality work on a bit. He's a great dude. He's also hungry, and that's a good problem to have too. So better questions reveal whether the referral is real. We all have lead slips. You guys are a virtual chapter. Most of you have not even seen a referral slip before. It is literally this guy right here. If you can see my screen, it is a P&A referral slip. These are actually really cool because you fill it out, you have all the information, and you hand it to the person. You tear off the white sheet. The white sheet goes to the person who receives the referral. The yellow sheet goes to the officer, the vice president, who tracks the amount of inside and outside referrals and or closed business. And the pink slip, because it sounds funny, you get to keep your own pink slip, but it's an accountability tool because if you know that within a couple of weeks Stuart hasn't reached out to that person, you then reach back out to him and say, hey, I introduced you to Tom, Dick, or Jane. You guys haven't connected yet. Can I help? Can I help with a reintroduction? What can I do to help further this? And at the same time, the thermometer there, it's the referral gauge, kind of hard to see here, but it's basically 1 through 10. 1 is it's a crap lead. 10 is it's a hot lead. They're expecting you to call today. So not only can a lead slip assist from a visual standpoint, most of us are kinesthetic learners, but it's going to point out, okay, this is a hot one. But if you're not in that situation and you can't do that, there are better questions that you can use to reveal what rating scale, right? 1 through 10, 10 hot, 1 not. What can you ask to further clarify and drive this a little bit further down the road before you hand it off to the referral? What would you like to change, right? How long has this been a problem? Is this something you want to solve soon? Have you already spoken to anyone? That's a key thing. It's great when people say, I need 3 bids. Stuart may or may not love that, but he knows then he has competition. He knows then he should contact the customer and ask X amount of questions, do a free consultation, do the amazing Zoom quote tool that they have now as well. Whatever it takes to separate himself from the competition, all of us should be doing that. Would an introduction be helpful? Once again, it rounds back to developing the opportunity, the ask, the permission to provide a referral as direct as possible. So you have to listen for urgency, the fit, the permission, and the next step, once again, which is the introduction. So real quick, I want to give you guys an exercise. I want you to write this down if you have a piece of paper handy. I want you to write down your category, but at the same time, 5 exact phrases that should make members think of you. Okay? And I'll even screenshot this and send it out to you later. You don't have to finish it right now. But what I want you guys to do is when I'm gone, I want you to email this to one another. Email your 5 exact phrases that should make members think of you. This is all done with the hope that you all will become even greater, bigger fans for one another. And this will arm you with some of those things that should be in the back of your brain or even the tip of your tongue when you hear someone in a networking situation or anywhere else say, "Oh my gosh, my floors are uneven. In my kitchen, I just bought a home." And that might be the worst example ever for the sake of conversation. But point is, something that will trigger you to know that Stuart is going to be the person you're going to introduce them to, or David, or Brett, or Mike, or Megan, or Matt, or that Aaron guy who's not here today, right? So I want you to think about that. And I want you guys, I'm going to follow up with Brett, blind card, CC everybody, or even CC me as well. I want to see what your 5 exact phrases are, okay? And because I've been doing this for 25 plus years, if I think some of your phrases might need tweaking, I'd like for you all to be open for a connection with me and I can advise. I might not be right, but trust me, I'll have an opinion. So if you're all willing to do that, I want you all to email each other your 5 phrases, okay? Now, I really wish Aaron was here today because I want to also show you something that I've been working on for a long time now, but it is the ecosystem that is PNA. And look what's the first person I want to highlight. Aaron, he's a residential real estate broker. I want you all to understand how many business categories Aaron, just being Aaron every single awesome day, is connected with, may not be connected with, darn well should be connected with. But I want you guys to see how big the ecosystem really is. And this is just a starting point. His primary partner is normally a mortgage advisor, title and escrow, a home inspector. You guys do not have 2 of those categories in this chapter. They are ones that you could find. There are ones that you could bring in to help his referral network grow, as well as everyone else's, because of the value of that every member brings into the room. They may not need business from Mike, but they may need 10 people or know 10 people that need his business. From the business growth perspective, a marketing agency, a business coach, a real estate photographer. You guys do not have those categories, any of these categories in your group. Technically, Mike might fall under marketing agency, so maybe I'll back up there a bit. But point is, you don't have a graphic designer, you don't have an SEO specialist, right? Or the new AIO type of specialist. You could. From the operations and productivity standpoint, a transaction coordinator, a bookkeeper, IT and cybersecurity. There's a lot of information being passed from a real estate agent to all the agencies. They might need that level of cybersecurity if they're not doing it. We all need a bookkeeper. We all need a CPA. That could be in there as well. I just opted out to keep this simple for now. At the same time, I find that the best real estate agents also look into the community, look into the environment that their potential clients are moving into. Um, Financial advisor, what's the financial situation in that demographic? An estate planning attorney, that might be necessary as well. Community connections, that's where I was leading with. Find out how close they are to schools, what events are nearby. Is there a Sunday market, like, or whatever. That's all sexy stuff that makes what he does more attractive to potential buyers or even sellers, of course, right? So this is just a sampling of the amount of people that should and or could be connected to Aaron. Next up, really quickly, the relationships that are identified here all connect the broker to the people who touched the client before, during, and after the transaction. So really quickly, I'm glad Stuart's here. It was hard to find a picture of him, but look at that. There's a general contractor. He is connected to real estate brokers, architects and designers, lender, mortgage advisors, the business growth, marketing agency. We Honeydew is doing a lot of things right now to change their look and do some more fun things. They're using some AI. They're doing marketing. You don't have someone right now doing that stuff in this chapter. A business coach, photographer, videographer. Operations and productivity, subcontractors and trades. You guys all know that he can subcontract the plumbers, the electricians, etc. They're not actually really competitors to him. Sure, they might have existing business that Stewart won't get because it's existing, but he can bring them in, or they can be in jobs that suddenly need his services from an overarching perspective. Again, bookkeeper, project manager. That's not often a category, but it comes up a lot in groups. People are asking for a PM specialist. Lifestyle community, once again, insurance agent. You guys have that, but you don't have a bank. HELOCs, things along those lines. And once again, community connections. Just things to think about. So this was a little bit longer than I technically intended. But again, thank you. I want you all to think about one sentence that could change someone's business when we're listening out there. It should enact you, engage you to hear that complaint, trigger those five exact phrases that make you think about someone within your PNA network. And again, if the category isn't in your group, learn the other groups, learn the other categories that they hold, visit the other chapters, ask the right questions, ask better questions like we covered today, and then ask if you're able to provide a warm introduction. This is how we create great networkers that, as it says here, they do not wait for referrals, they recognize them. You're all doing an amazing job, especially during summer. You're generating close business. You guys don't understand how rare that is. I'm proud of you guys. If you have any questions, I can answer them quickly or have a one-to-one with me. We are here to grow your network and, of course, your net worth.
Very good, Brian. Thank